What's up, guys? So I know it's been a while since Gamescom, but for those of you that have followed me for a while now, you guys know that the purpose of my channel is not to give you breaking news. I gotta put out information like right now. Yo, it was just announced like 5 minutes ago. No, I'm more interested in sharing information about games and telling you how I feel about them. I am running behind with a bunch of games that I want to talk about when it comes to Gamescom that were shown off in Gamescom. And I really don't want to just say whatever, I'm not even going to talk about it anymore, because a lot of these games are really cool. So right now I'm going to talk about The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. This game was shown off during the Sony press conference at Gamescom 2014. It looked like a PC game, like a strict PC game. And I was like, why are they showing this in the Sony conference? It turns out that it is a PC game, but it's also being made for the PS4. So that, I've never really played a PC style game on a console. And I know that might be like sacrilegious to you PC players, but I mean, I don't have a PC. If I had one, I would be playing on PC. I'm that type of gamer. I'm that type of gamer where it's like, I want all the things. The PC version of this game is actually coming out the 25th of this month. The PS4 version is like to be announced in 2015, so. But yeah, let me talk a little bit about what this game is. The developer is The Astronauts. It's inspired by Tales of the Macabre. From early 20th century. It's a first-person murder mystery, and it's also been called an adventure/horror game. When I hear it's a horror, it's like, oh my god, this game is gonna be so scary. You know, I'm gonna be freaking like jump scares and stuff like that. That's what I imagine when I think of horror. Now, I could just be really limiting the genre, and they were saying that the scary moments in the game aren't really there to like freak you out or anything like that, or like jump scares. They're more for ambient creepiness, like where you're like, I feel uneasy, I feel like, you know, just those chills that you get. It's also an explorable open world. Now this is really interesting because it is a murder mystery and it's set in an open world. I was like, oh my god, could you imagine how much you could investigate? You play as a detective named Paul Prospero, and he has paranormal abilities. So along with this whole murder mystery genre aspect to the game, there is also a supernatural and paranormal twist to it. I got a sense of maybe LA Noire and Murdered Soul Suspects. Paul Prospero, he receives a letter from a boy named Ethan Carter, and he needs help. So the detective travels to this area called Red Creek Valley to investigate what's going on, to look for Ethan Carter, and he starts to come into contact with a bunch of murder mysteries. The cool thing about the demo for The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is that they were really skipping a lot of spoiler stuff that they really wanted to keep on the down low. Right now, they were really showing just like the surface of what the game is about. Like they show you evidence, you could investigate it, kind of like in LA Noire. You could tag evidence, and then there's that whole paranormal aspect to it, where you could talk to the dead. The way that you talk to the dead in the demo is that you have to set the crime scene where you find a person, like they find this person without legs by a train track. And they're like, you're like, okay, what happened? So you start to investigate the clues around there. And they were like, unless you bring the crime scene to look like before the death of the victim, they won't connect with you. You won't be able to talk to them. So you go ahead and do that. They skipped it because they were like, we don't want to show that yet. Once they did that, and they can now tap into this dead person, and it just shows these little lights that start to fall in different areas, and you go and investigate these areas where they're shining of light, and they're clues. They're like evidence of what happened. They're like stamps in this person's memory, in the dead person's memory. So they're communicating with you through memory stamps, and you get to take that evidence and chronologically place it so that you know what happened chronologically. You then solve what happened, how that person died, that kind of thing. They also showed another aspect where you are by this train car. I think it was a train car where you actually crank it and you could ride it. But you investigate it. There's blood on it, and you're just like, okay, well, what's going on here? You investigate the blood. Is it an animal? Is it human? And then you start seeing the word crank, crank, crank. It sounds like a freaking hip-hop song. And what that is also that paranormal ability or powers that Paul Prospero, this detective, has. He gets like these, I guess it's like intuition, where he starts to say, okay, where's the crank? Where's the crank? But he starts to almost feel where it is. And you get this vision of where it is, and you have to go find this area. So when you finally find this area that you had a vision of where the crank is, he finds the crank, you get it, you take it back to the train car, and you put it in the front of the train car, and you crank it, and then you get in, and you continue the story. So that was just what they were showing in the demo. I highly recommend you see it, because it's a different thing, me explaining it and you actually seeing it. So I'll have the links in the description. Please go watch it because it's pretty cool. So what you can do is you can investigate clues, analyze crime scenes, tag evidence, have senses or visions, talk to the dead. You view strange tears or rips in between worlds. I don't know what that is. That's just, I was like, it looks like a tear. Like it just, the circle opens up and you can see a different part, or like the other world or a different time almost. Or it's also this vision of like, okay, the crank is in this area. You could go about investigating the murders however you want to, at whatever pace you want to. And they don't just have that murder mysteries to investigate. They also, around the world, they have what they're calling playgrounds or mini worlds, which are different areas that you could come into contact while you're exploring the world. And there could be no murder involved there. You just start to like you walk into this house and it just says read, and you read this note, and or something like that's just right there, and you start to see these portals, like the door, there's like this blue portal there, and it's like there's something going on here that they're not talking about, obviously, because they're trying to keep it a secret still right now, which is good, because that probably is an indicator that there is something much more going on here that they don't want to reveal yet. They want to leave it so that the player could start finding this out while they're playing. Pretty much what you have to do is investigate not only murders, but also the dark secrets of Red Creek Valley. Now, Red Creek Valley is a fictional setting. It's not real. They also said that their aim was not to make it a game that is focused on puzzles. There is like a problem and solution type of aspect there, where you have to solve the problem and find which way to do it so that you could solve it. But what they're really focusing on is atmosphere, mood, and the essential humanity of the characters. That really piqued my interest, especially in the setting that it's placed, especially because they're calling it this horror, especially because of the whole supernatural paranormal thing. It just seems like the type of murder mystery that I've been waiting for. Definitely a game I'm going to be getting, and I'm going to be playing on the PS4, obviously, because I'm not going to be able to buy a PC. A lot of people are like, why don't you just get a PC? Because it's a lot of money to get a good one, and I want a good one because I don't want to be worrying about like lower the specs and like, oh, you don't have to have it all powerful. No, I want it to look good. If I'm going to have a gaming PC, I want it to be good. So until I could get a good one, I'm going to have to play on console. Like, that's just something that I know that that's just what's going to happen. They said that a lot of the writers that they were inspired by are Raymond Chandler, Algernon Blackwood, Stefan Grabinski, and H.P. Lovecraft. The game combines the pleasures of pulp, private eye, and horror fiction. And another thing that is really important to mention is that there is no combat. For those of you that have a PC and that could afford this game, I highly recommend you check it out because it's coming out in a few weeks. So I think it would be best if you pre-order it so you can get all those cool goodies. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I'm really interested to know what you guys think about this game because I'm excited, and I definitely will pick this up. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.